Hello and welcome to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young and, as promised, I'll give my Super Bowl preview today. However, before we get to that, the NBA has been absolutely turned upside down by some major trades. News broke on Saturday night that rattled the entire sports world. The Lakers, Mavericks, and Jazz completed a three-team trade that sent Luka Doncic to Los Angeles and Anthony Davis to Dallas. This is absolutely monumental. Davis is a clear-cut future Hall of Famer. The 31-year-old is a 10-time NBA All-Star and has been named to 4 All-NBA first teams and 5 NBA All-Defensive teams. After starting his career with the New Orleans Pelicans, he won the 2020 NBA Finals in his first season with the Lakers. In 2021, he was named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team. He also won the inaugural NBA Cup in 2023 with the Lakers. On the other end of the deal, 25-year-old Luka Doncic is in the prime of his career and is a top 5 or even top 3 player in the NBA right now. Since his rookie season, he has been selected to 5 NBA All-Star games and 5 All-NBA first-team selections. He also represents the Slovenian national team and is widely regarded as one of the greatest European players of all time. Doncic was unanimously selected to the NBA All-Rookie First Team and won Rookie of the Year for the 2018 season. He led the NBA in scoring during the 2023-2024 season, becoming the first European to lead the NBA in scoring and second international player to achieve this feat. That season, he led the Mavericks to their 3rd NBA Finals appearance. Doncic is also the Mavericks franchise leader in career triple-doubles and holds the record for most points in a Mavericks season. All of this to say, this trade came as an absolute shock to the basketball world and the sports world as a whole. If you're more of an NFL fan, here's a good comparison to make. Imagine Joe Burrow leads the Bengals to a Super Bowl like he did back in 2021 and leads the league in passing yards like he did this season. Then, immediately after, he gets traded for someone like Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford, who are towards the end of their careers but can still produce at a high level and have a championship ring. On top of that blockbuster trade, there were a few other major names dealt to new teams. The Bucks traded Chris Middleton to Washington in exchange for Kyle Kuzma. Prior to that, in a 3-team trade, De'Aaron Fox was sent to San Antonio, Zach LaVine went to the Kings, and Zach Hollins plus Kevin Huerter went to Chicago. Then on Wednesday, continuing on the Jimmy Butler saga, he was traded from Miami to the Golden State Warriors in exchange for Andrew Wiggins. Brandon Ingram is now headed to Toronto, and right before the trade deadline, the Lakers added one more trade, sending Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish to Charlotte in exchange for Mark Williams. Okay, now that that's out of the way, time to get to the good stuff, the Super Bowl. As I'm sure you're aware by now, Super Bowl 59 is set for a rematch between the back-to-back reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles in New Orleans. I figured I'd run through the main storylines surrounding the big game and give my keys to the game and try and predict what will happen on Sunday. As I said, the Chiefs are back-to-back reigning champions, beating the Eagles in 2023, then the 49ers just last year. Over the 59-year history of the Super Bowl, only 9 teams have successfully defended their title. Going even further, no team in NFL history has won 3 straight Super Bowls. The Green Bay Packers won an NFL championship in 1965 and followed by winning the first 2 Super Bowls, so technically they won 3 straight championships, but the first wasn't a Super Bowl win. So the Chiefs are attempting the first three-peat in Super Bowl history. And you can't talk about the Chiefs' success without first mentioning Patrick Mahomes. At the age of just 29, Mahomes is already in the conversation for the greatest quarterback of all time. He has the record for the most passing yards, touchdown passes, and passing completions through his first 100 NFL games. Mahomes reached 25,000 passing yards in just 83 games, the fastest to that landmark number in NFL history. He has led the Chiefs to 7 consecutive AFC Championship game appearances and 5 Super Bowl appearances since becoming their starting quarterback in just 2018. He is one of 5 quarterbacks in NFL history to win 3 or more Super Bowls as a starter. Other than his 3 rings, he's a 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time NFL MVP, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, and so much more. Becoming the first quarterback to lead his team to 3 consecutive Super Bowl wins would just be the icing on the cake of his already illustrious career. Here's the first of many fun facts of the day surrounding the Super Bowl. With the exception of 2022 and 2016, 9 out of the last 11 Super Bowls have featured either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, or both, and this year, Tom Brady will be in the booth announcing the big game, while obviously Mahomes will be playing, so the streak continues. Pretty wild stretch of 2 of the best quarterbacks ever in the Super Bowl. As for the Eagles, this is their 5th Super Bowl appearance in team history. Their only Super Bowl win came in 2018 when they upset Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. They fell just shy to the Chiefs in 2023, losing 38-35. This year, the Eagles have added a very powerful weapon that might make all the difference, running back Saquon Barkley. Barkley joined the Eagles roster this offseason after leaving the New York Giants. When Barkley was healthy in his time in New York, he was one of, if not the best backs in the league. This year, with a better roster around him, Barkley proved just how good he really is. He became just the 9th player in history to rush for over 2,000 yards, as he finished with 2,283 total yards from scrimmage, a career-high 13 rushing touchdowns, and even picked up 2 receiving touchdowns. On top of that, in the postseason, Barkley ran for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns in the wild card win over the Packers, 205 yards and 2 touchdowns in their divisional win over the Rams, and 118 yards and 3 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game against the Commanders. Saquon Barkley had one of the greatest seasons for a running back in NFL history, and the Eagles will need to rely heavily on him throughout this game. Under center for the Eagles is quarterback Jalen Hurts. Hurts led the Eagles to their first franchise 10-game win streak after starting 2-2 to achieving a 12-2 record, helping the Eagles clinch their 4th consecutive playoff berth in Week 14. Part of that success came from Hurts' rushing ability, as he finished the season with 18 passing touchdowns and a whopping 14 rushing touchdowns. In the postseason so far, he's thrown for 3 touchdowns and ran for another 4. Hurts and Barkley combined for a very dangerous backfield, so I expect them to rely pretty heavily on the run game behind their top 5 ranked offensive line. Fun fact about Jalen Hurts: he didn't become the starter of the Eagles until Week 13 of his rookie season. For a majority of his first year, he was backup to quarterback Carson Wentz. In a full circle moment, Hurts has the ability to defeat his predecessor, as Wentz is now the backup quarterback for the Chiefs. 2 more quick fun facts before I make my predictions. Number 1. New Orleans is now tied with Miami for the most Super Bowls hosted by a city, each with 11. And 2, my favorite yearly fun fact, the white jersey theory. All 59 Super Bowls have featured one team wearing a white jersey and one team wearing a jersey of a different color, including this year. Through 58 editions of the Super Bowl to this point, the team that wore white jerseys lifted the Lombardi Trophy a resounding 37 times. The New England Patriots win over the Eagles on February 6, 2005, kicked off a 6-game winning streak for teams wearing white. The Green Bay Packers stopped that trend in Super Bowl 45 with a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, before teams in white jerseys strung together another 6-game winning streak from 2012 to 2017. That streak again came to a halt when the Eagles got revenge on the Patriots in Super Bowl 52. Since then, the winning teams have alternated jersey colors, so it hasn't been too much of a factor. Still, 37 out of 58, or just about 64%, means that the white jerseys have the odds in their favor. And this season, the Eagles will be in their midnight green, while Kansas City will sport their white uniforms. All right, time for my keys to the game and predictions. I spent a large amount of the show talking about the Eagles' run game, and they'll need to rely heavily on that early and often. They have a top-flight offensive line, but the Chiefs' defensive line, led by Chris Jones, will be looking to slow down Barkley and the run game. It'll be a heavy-hitting matchup between 2 dominant front lines. Once the scoring begins, the passing game will begin to open up. This is where the Mahomes-Kelce connection will be crucial for the Chiefs' success. Travis Kelce has had 151 catches for 1,745 yards and has scored 19 touchdowns in 20 games with Mahomes in the playoffs in his career. So, look for that duo to continue their postseason success again this Sunday. With that said, though, look for players like Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and DeAndre Hopkins to get involved in crucial moments for the Chiefs. Lockdown rookie cornerback Quinyon Mitchell and defensive tackle Jalen Carter have been the 2 dominant forces for the Eagles on defense, so Carter will need to disrupt Mahomes and Mitchell will need to hold down the secondary to prevent Mahomes from playing to his full potential. For the Eagles offense, like I continued to say, they need to run the ball and stick with the run game. Their receiving core is stacked with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, so they can and will have success throwing the ball when they need to, though. Look for tight end Dallas Goedert to play a big role in Philly's offense as well. All in all, the outcome of this game will boil down to the coaching chess match between Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. Reid and defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo have made the Chiefs an all-around powerhouse, and their extensive experience in playoffs and Super Bowls will give them the edge over the Eagles. To win, Philadelphia will need to minimize any mistakes, corral Patrick Mahomes as much as possible, and score on every offensive drive. I believe this will be a great matchup between 2 incredible teams, so in my head, it'll be a close final score. Because of their experience, coaching, and quarterback, I believe the Chiefs will compete the unprecedented three-peat and will hoist the Lombardi Trophy by a score of 28-25. Due to my own personal fandom, I hope I'm wrong, but it's hard to ever doubt the Chiefs. It pains me to say this, but this is the final NFL game for at least 6 or 7 months, so enjoy every last second, no matter who you're rooting for. The game kicks off this Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on Fox, but enjoy the pregame material all day long. With all that said, enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday, and be sure to come right back next Friday to recap the big game with me. As always, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young. Have an incredible Super Bowl weekend, and I'll see you next time.